While conference realignment has affected a lot of schools and rivalries, luckily it seems like cooler heads may prevail and save one of the oldest rivalries in college football. A rivalry that has seen riots, fields catch on fire, and players punching fans. I am talking about Oregon State versus Oregon. Two schools separated by less than 4 hours in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. This is the story of Oregon versus Oregon State. This is the story of the rivalry that can't end. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I am planning to release multiple videos a week this season. Also, let me know what your favorite college football rivalry is in the comment section below. So let's meet our teams. The Oregon Ducks began playing football in 1894, defeating Albany College 44-3 in their first game. Mike Bellotti is the winningest head coach in Oregon football history with a 116-55 record, leading them to 2 Pac-10 championships. Chip Kelly followed him and led them to the national title in 2010, going 46-7. Mark Helfrich led them to the college football playoffs in 2014 and the championship game, but they have not been back to the playoffs since. Head coach Dan Lanning has the Ducks back in the national title picture and will be leading them into the Big Ten Conference next season. Oregon has an all-time record of 700, 509, and 46, and has won 14 conference titles. Oregon State, on the other hand, began playing football in 1893 after the school's ban on sports was lifted. They also beat Albany College in their first game, winning 64-0 themselves. Mike Riley is the winningest coach in school history after going 93-80, and Dennis Erickson led them to their last conference title in 2000. They are currently led by former Beaver quarterback Jonathan Smith, who led them to the conference championship as a player back in 2000. He has a 26-31 record going into this 2023 season and has built the Beavers into a special team, going 10-3 last year. Oregon State is 565, 625, and 50 all time, with 7 conference championships. So why does this rivalry matter? The Oregon versus Oregon State game began playing in 1894, and they have played 126 times and continuously since 1945. Back when the rivalry started, touchdowns were worth 4 points and the seasons were only 2 or 3 games long. At the time, Oregon State was known as Oregon Agricultural College, and their nickname was the Hayminers. The Hayminers beat Oregon 16-0 in Corvallis during their first matchup. Just a year later in 1895, the Oregon football program had to fight to keep its head above the water. Many in-state organizations wanted the sport banned from all Oregon colleges, feeling like it was a violent and savage game played by barbarians. The Salem Post wrote, "The game is little better than the sports of the amphitheater of old or the bullfighting of Spain. A scientific game like baseball or cricket is all right, but not football." The attempt to end the football program failed, and the teams faced off with Oregon winning 46-0, which was the rivalry's biggest margin of victory up until 2017, when they won 69-10. In 1896, the schools decided to play each other twice per year, once at each school, and this would become known as the Oregon Classic and join the Oregon College Football Association together. In the second matchup, fans got into a brawl with each other and even with some referees. After the game, Oregon coach J.F. Frick attempted to make the case that the Hayminers had recruited what was called bruisers and prize fighters to play in the game who weren't technically enrolled at the university. This altercation almost led to the ending of the rivalry, but instead, they chose to only play once a year going forward. Imagine a scenario where rivalries games were played twice a year. Would have been crazy. While Oregon had to fight to keep their program alive during the mid-1890s, Oregon State had to do the same a few years later, even having it discontinued for 2 seasons. By 1905, Oregon led the series 8-2-1. Once again, the series would be suspended after a riot after the 1910 game. After that game, they decided to host the game at a neutral site for 1912. As Oregon found success through the mid-1920s, they continued to dominate the rivalry, holding a 17-4-6 overall record. But then Oregon State began to turn the tides as the 20s came to a close, having their first winning streak of 3 in series history. From 1936 to 1946, the now Oregon State College went 9-1 in the series, and it began to be referred to as the Civil War instead of the Oregon Classic or State Championship. Throughout the 40s and 50s, the series would flip back and forth as each school went on their own winning streak. From 1975 on, the Ducks absolutely dominated the Beavers. Since that year, Oregon holds a series record of 36-12-1, including 8 straight wins from 1975 through 1982, and 8 straight from 2008 to 2015. Things have not been pretty as the two schools played in the last 0-0 tie in NCAA history in a game now known as the Toilet Bowl. 2009 saw both schools battle for the Pac-12 spot in the Rose Bowl, with the game being called the War for the Roses. In 2010, after clinching a berth in a national title game, a group of Duck fans lit a t-shirt on fire that read, "I hate your Ducks," on the field after winning, which unfortunately resulted in some pretty serious damage to the field turf. The Oregon students who were captured on photo lighting the shirts were arrested after the incident. Following Oregon State's 38-34 win at Reser Stadium in 2022, Oregon linebacker DJ Johnson punched an Oregon State fan after what appeared to be some arguing between the two. This all occurred after the fan stormed the field and was caught by a fan taking a video for social media. Johnson would declare for the draft instead of playing in the bowl game. So why was the game called the Civil War, and why did that end? Usage of the nickname can be traced back to at least the former Beavers head coach Captain John W. McEwen in the early 1930s. The name became popular in the coverage of the 1937 game. There's no exact reasoning behind it, but the name was changed in 2020 because of the George Floyd protests. The schools announced they were going to create a new name, but that has yet to come to fruition. The two played for the Platypus Trophy, an animal that is a mix of a beaver and a duck, for 3 years from 1959 to 1961. The trophy was awarded to the winning school. The trophy was then lost for more than 40 years before being rediscovered in 2005 and proposed as the game's unofficial trophy in 2007. It is currently awarded to the Alumni Association of the winning school. At one point, the trophy was found being used for a high school water polo rivalry. Led by Dan Williams, an Oregon administrator who had been the student body president who handed the trophy over to Oregon State's counterparts in 1961, the trophy was rediscovered in 2005 in a closet at the University of Oregon's MacArthur Court. The trophy was going to be used for the football game, but there was little interest by the fans. Unlike Bedlam, even though Oregon and Oregon State will no longer be playing in the same conference with the Ducks joining the Big Ten, there are still plans to continue playing the rivalry, at least for the near future. The Ducks wrote in a press release, in the coming years, Oregon will prioritize the long-held tradition, including competition across all sports with Oregon State University. Even the basketball coaches have come out and said that they want the series to continue as well. I think this is important for both schools, as this rivalry has a rich history and means a lot to their fans. This has been the story of Oregon versus Oregon State. This has been the story of the rivalry that can't end. What do you think? What is your favorite college football rivalry? Let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Don't forget to leave a like and to subscribe for more college football content. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.